Welcome to our review of Raw, July 9th, 2012. I'm your host, Billy Van Horbeck, and alongside me as always is Stacy Meadows.
Raw started out this week with before the show, they reviewed the love triangle between CM Punk, AJ, and Daniel Bryan over the last couple weeks, what's been going on and stuff. And then AJ started the show. And she stated that she was going to be the ref, and then she calls out CM Punk. CM Punk comes out to the ring, and then he asks what she wanted. And AJ says that she was a little upset with CM Punk because he called her mentally unstable and said that she needed help, but that she was mentally fine. But she knows that CM Punk cares for her, and she was really affectionate over that. She believed that he loves her, and that CM Punk turns her on, and that she proceeded to propose to CM Punk. But before he can really answer nothing, Daniel runs out shouting, "No, no, no," and claiming that CM Punk is using her. CM Punk tells Daniels that he doesn't know anything, doesn't know what he's thinking, doesn't know anything at all, and tells him to shut up. Then Daniels ends up proposing to AJ. And at that moment, the lights begin to blink. And that reveals that tonight's Raw was presented, or going to be, the GM was going to be the anonymous general manager from a long time ago. And Cole reveals that the GM wanted to make a mixed tag match of AJ and CM Punk versus Eve and Daniel Bryan. And AJ is convinced that she's leaving the ring, that she's going to leave the arena tonight with her future husband.
Really? Okay, so what I want to kind of, excuse me, what I like to state here is that a lot of times when these wrestlers do these love stories and stuff like that, they're very uncomfortable. I mean, the wrestlers are, they're actors, but they're mainly stuntmen. And one of the things about something like this is when you have these love storylines, it's really awful a lot of times. I mean, what do you mean? What about that Oksana and Teddy Long storyline?
Yeah.
Every time Oksana came on,
that was just uncomfortable.
Yeah, every time Oksana came on, it was just really bad. But with this, so opening up with this AJ thing at the beginning with the CM Punk and AJ, it was just uncomfortable, kind of made your skin crawl. And then Daniels came out, and it got a little bit better there. But when they revealed the anonymous general manager, I thought that part was cool. So it was kind of a 50-50 thing where it was some of the segment was and then the other part of the segment was oh, that's pretty cool. So one thing we were going to ask you guys, anyone who decides to watch this, is we kind of want your opinions on which story you think is better. Do you think the AJ Daniels story in TNA is a better storyline, or do you think the AJ Daniels story in WWE is a better storyline? So we kind of want your vote on that, which AJ story you like better. Plus, one thing also I just wanted to add to this was the one person that does do the love stories okay, I think that has good chemistries with the wrestlers a lot of time, is Vicky Guerrero. It's kind of a shame, but Vicky Guerrero, as far as love stories go in WWE, is probably the best one at it. So that's just, I just wanted to throw that out there because that's kind of funny in a way.
Yeah. After that, we kind of have a little bit of a review of Alberto's attack on Sheamus from the week before, where Alberto slammed his hood on top of Sheamus and making him out for a little while. And we start our first match of the night with Sheamus versus Jack Swagger. And it was a really quick match. It was basically Sheamus put the white noise on Jack Swagger, and then bro kicked him and the match was over. And then after the match, Alberto Del Rio gets on the big screen and he to grab Sheamus's attention and says he's in his car in the parking lot somewhere or in the garage or something, and he says he's going to beat him and take the title, and then he drives off. And Jack Swagger's like kind of groggily getting back up in the ring. Sheamus turns around and gives him another bro kick afterwards.
Yeah, it was typical, I'm going to beat you, you're going to beat me. It's kind of sad that the World Championship match at this pay-per-view, there's really not much of a storyline going into it. I mean, there is and there isn't. The fact is, they've been trying to do this Alberto Del Rio Sheamus match forever now. They try to have it at one paper. They tried to have it, I think, back at Over the Limit, and then that ended up becoming a Fatal 4-Way. And then they tried to have it again at this last pay-per-view, No Way Out, and that ended up being Dolph Ziggler took Alberto's place because Alberto got hurt, and then now they're trying to have it again. So we're just hoping that they have the match, you know, Sheamus or one of them wins, and then we move on to the next storyline. They both get different dance partners because I think they're even wanting to have this match. I think they're tired of trying to build up to this match because they've already done everything they could to build up to this match. They're just like, can we have it now? You know, can we finally get this over with? You know.
Yeah. After that, Santino starts talking with Zack Ryder in the back somewhere, and he congratulates Zack Ryder on winning the Battle Royal they had on last SmackDown, and how he's going to be the GM for one night on this upcoming SmackDown. And then Santino swears that he's going to find the anonymous GM. He's going to figure out who it is. So he puts on his detective hat, and he's got his pipe, and he's got his magnifying glass, and he goes around looking for clues. And then after that, we come to our second match of the night. And this match kind of pissed us off because the match was basically already started. It was hard to figure out who was even in the match until you watched it for a little bit. But it basically was a match with Dolph Ziggler and Lord Tensai versus Christian and Tyson Kidd. And you had to figure out this by seeing them already fighting and stuff. And Vicky Guerrero was on the announce table already. She was already doing commentary. And basically, at one point of the match, Tensai tries to go for Captain Christian in the corner. He misses the first time, and he's going to try to do it again. But Christian kind of sees it coming, and Tensai's worshiper, follower, manager, whatever you want to call him, gets the ref's attention. Ziggler grabs Christian's leg, holding him until Tensai gets Christian and does his rolling powerbomb.
It was just a splash he does.
His rolling splash, and then got the pin.
Yeah, he lands on him with his ass. He sat on Christian and won.
And then after the match was over, he continued attacking Tyson Kidd, who upset him last week. He just keeps beating up on Tyson Kidd. Yeah. As Ziggler and Vicky are wandering away.
Well, Vicky's actually got her eye on Lord Tensai. She wants to manage him too. So that's interesting. I wonder if they'll play that out a little bit. See if Lord Tensai and Vicky Guerrero puts Tensai in her stable or something. I don't know.
Then after that, Cole and Lawler start bickering about who's going to be the next permanent GMs. And Cole is all rooting for the anonymous GM to be put back in charge of Raw again. And Lawler disagrees with him and says, I think I'd like Mick Foley to be GM of Raw and Teddy Long to take over SmackDown again. And Me and my brother, we got different points of view. I want Teddy Long to keep in charge of SmackDown because I thought he did all right, and maybe Eve or Vicky or somebody like that to take over Raw would be kind of cool.
Even though Eve was part of the Laurinaitis, she was part of the whole Laurinaitis movement and everything, which was the People Power movement. But I always thought she did a good job being in charge and everything. I kind of liked her as being in control, so I wanted to see her take over Raw. And then for SmackDown, I like to see Vicky Guerrero. I don't know. I think it would be cool, but we'll have to see what it comes down to, and see what happens on the 1000th episode.
Well, anyway, Cole and Lawler are bickering about that, and the GM wants to make it a WrestleMania rematch, and so he makes this poll to see if they're going to have this match between Cole and Lawler. And then we go to our third match, which was also a quick match, and it was the Funkasaurus versus Drew McIntyre. And I really like Drew McIntyre, but against the Funkasaurus, I kind of knew he didn't stand a chance because I think I've seen him being beat by him before, or one of the other big names coming in, he got beat by them before.
Well, Drew McIntyre, that's kind of disappointing. Drew McIntyre is kind of a disappointing story because we like Drew McIntyre starting off, and now they just make him a jobber. I wish they'd do something with him again. Maybe give him another title run in the future, but I don't know. They just throw Drew McIntyre to the side and say jobber. I don't know why. I always thought he was a good wrestler.
And then after this, Santino confronts Jericho about being the GM. And that's kind of a little funny scene. And, of course, Jericho's not the GM, and Santino wanders off, but the Big Show confronts Jericho, telling him when they go out there to stay out of his way. And that leads up to our match, the fourth match of the night, which is going to be Cena and Kane versus Big Show and Jericho, which is also going to be their Raw Money in the Bank match. All four of these contestants, former world champions, taking on to get the Money in the Bank contract. So Cena comes out first and grabs the mic, talking about the Money in the Bank ladder match, and says he's going to win and stop Big Show. Then they actually bring out the other three, and one of the things I liked about this match, which you could tell that Big Show's still upset about this with Jericho, but I like the fact that Big Show and Jericho, which used to be a tag team, the Jericho Show, I really like that tag team. I like both the wrestlers a lot, so it was cool to see them back in action together again, kind of, even though they really weren't on the same page, but it was cool anyway. And then the match itself ends in a DQ because at some point, I forgot who was getting pinned, but someone pulled someone out.
So what happens at the end of this match is it was an FU to Chris Jericho, and then John Cena gets dragged out of the ring, and like automatically the bell rings. And I'm like, I was like confused because I mean it was a good match up to this point, but like at the end the referee just rings the bell out of nowhere. I don't know if Jericho got fully pinned or if there was a disqualification because Big Show really didn't do anything disqualification even until after the match. And then Big Show goes running around, grabbing ladders, throwing them in the ring, and he's going to beat up everybody. And then
which really, he just beats up Jericho.
Yeah, he beats up on Jericho. It was kind of funny because we were like, wow.
I'm kind of disappointed about that.
But he beats up Jericho, and then John Cena beats him with the ladder. I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm really psyched for the four-way Money in the Bank match, but this kind of throws me off is you have one Money in the Bank match with like 8 wrestlers in it, and then you got the other one with 4, and I kept hoping that they would throw Randy Orton in there because I don't know where Orton is right now, and I kind of wished he would have just came out of nowhere. Instead of John Cena coming in and hitting Big Show with the ladder, it would have been kind of cool to see Randy Orton come out of nowhere and just RKO Big Show and then be like, I'm in the match too, and then you have 5 former WWE champions taking on fighting for the Money in the Bank. At least put some more people in that match. I'm kind of disappointed that's only 4 people. I was hoping both of them would be 8 people, but I'm still looking forward to it. I mean, besides that, I mean, it wasn't really nothing spectacular, just your average monster out of control.
It was a build-up for the Money in the Bank match, which was a really good build-up for the upcoming pay-per-view. WWE really does a great job, like, building up their upcoming pay-per-views. They really do.
I thought it was kind of, I kind of thought it was funny they teamed up Kane with John Cena because I'm sure wrestling fans remember at the beginning of the year, Kane was running around going, John Cena needs to release the hate. It would have been funny if during the match he would have been like, release the hate, John! Or like he'd be in the corner trying to cheer John on. He's pounding on the ring bell like, release the hate, John! Release the hate! It would have been funny. I would have had a good time with that. Release the hate, John! And John would be like, no, Kane, I will not release the hate. That's Big Show? Okay, I'll release some hate. I hate you, Big Show. I hate you. But, go on.
Okay, our 5th match tonight, before we get into this, we got a little backstory of our own. Let's talk about this match. Heath Slater. Heath Slater, we actually ran into Heath Slater before he even appeared on WWE. He was wrestling in a local organization here. So we're really glad that they're keeping him around in the WWE, and we're really glad he's doing well in the WWE, at least
doing well.
Well, he's not.
He's at least he still got the job. We were very happy to see that somebody we knew before he became a WWE star. I actually was a ring announcer for one night, and I actually called Heath Slater out to the ring, so it's kind of cool. But
he was the ring announcer, and I was like the music guy.
Yeah, he was the music guy. But we there was this local wrestling show. But basically, it's Heath Slater versus Sin Cara.
Yeah. And basically, Sin Cara gets the win. And at the end of the match, Heath Slater gets upset over losing and challenges someone else. He wants to prove that he can beat somebody. And surprise, surprise, which we were kind of glad to see him, it was Bob Backlund that came out. If you remember, Crazy Bob Backlund came out. And I wrote it down as being a match, but it really wasn't a match because there was no referee out there. But basically, Bob Backlund ends up getting him in the chicken wing and making Heath Slater tap out.
Bob Backlund, I always think the Bob Backlund story is funny because early in like 78 or whatever, he's considered this real serious collegiate champion. You know, one of those guys that like no nonsense stuff. And then in the 90s, when he went up against Bret Hart, he lost his freaking mind. He was going around talking about the chicken wing and how he's going to kill everybody with the chicken wing. And then he went after Bret Hart. And then and then there was a submission match. I forget which WrestleMania it was, but there was a submission match between Bob Backlund and Bret Hart. And Bret Hart beats Bob Backlund with the chicken wing. And then after the match, Bob Backlund's running around, we won. And what do you mean we won? He's like, the chicken wing won. And he lost the match to the chicken wing. Yeah. He was still happy the chicken wing won. And it was the move that won the match. So that was all that was important to Bob Backlund was the chicken wing. It's kind of a funny story, but yeah, it was good seeing Bob Backlund. I didn't even know he was still alive. I'm happy to see the guy still alive and looks pretty decent for a guy who's got to at least be...
He doesn't look like he changed much at all, really.
He's got to be like in his 70s or even older than that. I mean...
After that, the poll revealed that about the Cole versus Lawler, if the fans wanted that match to happen or not. And 75% of the people did, so they had that match.
Yeah. This is kind of cool because this is where the whole anonymous GM had this payoff here.
All right. When we come back from commercial break, Booker T and Josh Matthews are now announcing. And King and Cole are about to fight, and I guess Cole tries to wither out of the match or something, and Booker T goes running up there and throws him back in the ring. And then King gets him and does this airplane spin him around and around, and then puts him down on the ground and then goes for a pin. And that beat Cole, like, right away. So King was a little disappointed, and he was, like, kicked him, and then he was like, I want to do my punch off the rope or something, you know?
Yeah.
And like, the referee was telling him, no. But, so they declared at first King was declared the winner. But then the GM computer blinks the lights and comes on the computer, and it says that because Booker T interfered, Cole wins. And then Santino comes out and declaring that the GM, he searched the whole building, so the GM, the only place left for him to be is underneath the ring. So he goes to look under the ring, and all of a sudden he's being pulled under the ring, and it's revealed that the GM, this whole time, the anonymous GM has been Hornswoggle. Which was a really good reveal. I mean, that's a really good story.
I can't even really poke any holes in it. I mean, I don't think you could have done it 2 years ago when the anonymous general manager actually was running around, because at the time Hornswoggle didn't speak. He was still that meh. But now they've given Hornswoggle a voice, and he's actually talking now. So it's like, I guess you could say that this whole time he's been kind of hiding this thing that he was the anonymous general manager back at that point. Also, keep in mind that Hornswoggle at one time was Vince McMahon's son, an illegitimate son too.
Yeah.
Even though JBL was the one that poked a hole in that, but I mean, so there's some good. I mean, it was kind of cool because they finally ended the anonymous GM storyline a year after it had been.
And they're officially declaring that Hornswoggle was.
No, yes, they're officially declaring it. Hornswoggle was the anonymous GM the whole time. So
regardless of even if he really was or if he really wasn't, that's their official.
That's the storyline they're going with, is that Hornswoggle was doing it the whole time. So it's kind of an interesting twist. It's like I think it's been better. I think it was a better twist than some of M. Night Shyamalan's twists. But yeah, it was a good twist. So I liked it. I think it was a big payoff on that. I mean, after all these years to kind of finally have a little payoff, a little fun with that storyline, and finally end it off. Like, they can't ever go back to it now because we now know it was Hornswoggle the whole time.
Yeah. And our 8th and final match of the night, the closing of the show, was Eve and Daniel Bryan versus AJ and CM Punk. And it was a really good match.
No, not really. It was a quick match. Another quick match.
Well, it was kind of quick, but it starts out with Daniels and CM Punk going at it. And then AJ tags herself in. And AJ and Eve are fighting, and Eve, starts getting to be beat up, so she goes for the tag to tag Bryan in. And Bryan refuses the tag and just jumps off the ring and not tagging her in, and AJ rolls up, pins her for the victory.
I think the little bit of the work that Eve and AJ did in the ring, it would be interesting to see. See, there's a couple good matches that they kind of teased us with AJ. Her fighting Layla and her fighting Eve, which would both be really good women matches at a pay-per-view. But I mean, but I like what they're doing with AJ. Oh, and then the ending.
Well,
let me do it.
Okay,
so the ending is, so CM Punk, so AJ, Daniel tries to get AJ, he says, look, I just have to prove to you that no match is more important than you. I'd be willing to lose a match if it means getting you. And he says, let's go, let's get married. CM Punk says, no, don't you do that. And so before my camera so rudely cut us off, what I was trying to say was, so you basically just kind of wrap this up real quick to give you my final thoughts. So AJ, CM Punk pretty much says, I'm not going to marry you, and then AJ slaps him, and then she looks like she cries a little bit, then slaps CM Punk, then turns around, and then slaps Daniel Bryan. She looks like she's going to go to Daniel Bryan, but then she slaps Daniel Bryan, and then she kind of starts smiling and laughing again, and then she skips out of the ring. First she starts going, yes, 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 and then she just skips out of the ring, and she's you're pretty much wondering how the world title is going to go this Sunday, because AJ's out of her mind, and who knows how she's going to call that match.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I give this Raw a pretty good Raw. I mean, overall, there were some real exciting parts, some cool surprises with Bob Backlund and the reveal of the anonymous general manager. So, we're going to go ahead and give this 4 yes out of 5.
Yep, that's basically it.
So that's our thoughts on Raw. Hope you enjoyed. Good night, everybody.
Good night.